chased validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa, I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I am your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Walking into today, Monday, Tuesday, Monday. Today's Monday. Okay, tomorrow's Tuesday. But I done lost track of days, y'all. Got so many things going on. Special shout out to those that were here yesterday. Usman, Mr. Pitts, Mr. Satellite, Bayside. I know Bayside, he gonna have a lot of questions today. Today we're going to be talking about how your savings and investings are at risk for the current policy changes and how they're going to be impacting your day-to-day operations. As I told you guys today, one of the reasons why I'm really late today, I was putting together today and tomorrow's show. So you see them both up there. You see tomorrow we're going to be doing a investment strategy. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the ins and outs and that. Any questions that you guys have about that, y'all be able to reach out and talk to me about that. For those of you that are on Twitter, X, and Twitch, you guys can click those links in the comments section. Approve the mic, approve the camera. It brings you on in real time. I prefer you to be over the age of 18 when you come onto the show and appropriately dressed and communicating appropriately. because we do have some jits in here that's learning some stuff that's under the age of 18. So we want to kind of be respectful to them. The rest of you guys that's on YouTube, you guys have the opportunity to also click that link, approve the mic, approve the camera, and it brings you on in real time. For the rest of you guys that provide comments in the comment section, you guys can do so. And as your appropriate comments come up, you'll see them on the screen above from all channels. So Twitch, you guys can provide statements and comments. Twitter, you guys can also provide statements and comments, and we can have a multi-platform interactive conversation. Very rarely done, so I know you guys aren't used to it, so y'all like to watch and listen as opposed to really get involved. But you'll notice throughout the show today that you will see a lot of individuals from YouTube, because we are from YouTube, but we are broadcasting across other platforms, and you will see that more people from YouTube will be chiming in soon enough. Special shout out to Max the Poser. Speaking of chiming in, he will be here eventually. And Joe, his father, perfect example of respecting the youth that's coming in and learning stuff. And Rudorus with the chess game. So remember, we're live 7 nights a week. We don't let the sun rise without going live. So you guys will notice that whether we start at 10, 11, or anywhere between 10 and 11, we will go live at some point. So if you hit those notification buttons, especially on YouTube, even if you end up watching us on Twitch or Twitter, you will get push notifications that let you know when we go live on the show so that you don't miss out on any of the important information. Any information that you guys benefit from, you can always throw us some special likes, special emojis, special comments, donations to the channel, kind of help with the platform, because, you know, nothing is free. Just note that whenever you contribute to the channel, YouTube takes half of it. So whatever you wanted me to have, you got to double that to make sure that I get it, because YouTube is a business and they're going to make theirs off of everybody who's on here. Moving forward, we're going to go ahead and dive into today's scenario. So let's break down what's happening right now with savings, investing, and even your ability to travel, date, and socialize as we head into mid-May of 2025. Before I move forward, I want to make sure that you guys remember that since we are live 7 nights a week with a different topic every night of the week, since we are talking tomorrow about some investment strategies based on today's discussion of economic changes, we will be talking about on Wednesday different countries to invest in, and then Thursday through Sunday, social improvement, network improvement, and self-development that will aid you guys with your personal lives so that your personal life does not impact your money. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to be talking to you guys about your financial life so that your finances doesn't negatively impact your personal life. It's a two-part process. So, as always, think about your own experiences as we go through these numbers. Now, if you're listening, make sure that you jump into the chat. Whenever you guys feel like you want to give us a story, let us know. We've got podcast exclusive soundtracks that we will play as you enter in for the first time for the night and give you guys some props for being here. And now we're going to be talking about the inflation and how it is eroding the savings power. And I really want to start with inflation. Because this is going to be the reason why the amount of money that you're making is not enough. So the latest data just dropped. The U.S. inflation rate is currently 2.4% for the 12 months ending in March of 2025. That's down from 2.8% in February, but still above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. So, have you noticed your grocery bill or gas costs creeping up? You're not imagining it. Even with inflation cooling a bit, prices are still rising, and the average American dollar just doesn't go as far as it did this time last year. For context, the average inflation rate in 2024 was 2.9%, and it was a whopping 4.1% in 2023. For those on a tight budget, this means it's still tough to save, and many are dipping into their savings just to keep up with everyday expenses. This has caused a shift in savings behavior. So now for the savers out there, are you shopping around for better interest rates? You're not alone. With inflation still eating into returns, there's been a noticeable uptick in people moving money into I bonds and treasuries. This is going to allow them to have inflation protected securities. And this is going to guard against the rising prices. So remember, we've been talking about a lot of investment strategies, a lot of locations where we can go and put our money. And we were talking about putting it into gold, silver, platinum, uranium, other precious metals and precious minerals, and throwing it into government bonds. You're starting to see a rise of that right now. The high yield savings accounts and CDs are also starting to become in high demand as people look for ways to keep up with inflation. This is going to be due to the fact that regardless of what inflation looks like, when the bank gives you your percentage increase, it's your percentage increase. The only difference is that you're going to see less of a percentage increase in CDs and high interest bank accounts and money market accounts and stuff to that effect, as opposed to investing in certain stocks and bonds that have a fluctuating dynamic that ultimately does not provide you with what you're looking for if you're not investing in the right products at the right time, which is one of the reasons why tomorrow we're going to take the 8 best stock options that we found over the past 4 months now, because we were talking about this as far back as December, but we really started hitting that list every month in January, February, and March as the market started dying down while it was on a dip, the massive decline. And then as it started leveling off, we continued to follow them. And we've just recently been talking to you guys about dividend payouts over the past 2 weeks. So I said, well, let's go ahead, and tomorrow we're going to talk about a way that we can move our money around in this particular situation so that we can make our money make more money for us. And we're going to go more into that tomorrow. But if you made moves like this, I want you guys to let us know what's working for you. Throw your opinions into the comment section. Give us some investment opportunities. I know some people say that you got to keep your trade secrets a secret because once everybody knows about it, it's no longer a secret. To a magnitude, that's true. But to a magnitude, you do realize that if you already invested in those stocks and you encourage people to invest in those stocks and they actually follow your instructions and invest in those stocks, guess what happens to those stocks? Those stocks increase in value. If you allow the people who followed your advice to invest in the same high profit stocks that you recommend to them and they buy into it and then you sell the difference, you just turned a profit off of letting everybody else know what you're doing to make money. It's not about undercutting the other person. It's about making money make money for you. And if everybody's going to make money, then everybody's got to eat. You don't have to keep all the money on the table in your pocket because your pocket's only so big. So let us know what you guys got going on, because your strategy and my strategy might not be the same. You might not agree with my strategy. I might not agree with your strategy, or your strategy just might not be feasible for me, even if I agreed with it. So make sure that you guys put forth the effort to talk about these things, because common knowledge is only common if everybody's talking about it. To have more than 95% of the population financially challenged, nobody's talking about ways to make money for us. Everybody's talking about finding a job that will give you enough hours on the job to make a reasonable paycheck to barely make ends meet, where you then have to go find a second job that'll work you the rest of the time so that you can make the rest of the money so that you can cover all of your ends. Where now you're only getting paid for your presence, where you're reasonably exhausted because you're expelling more time per day working presence wise to get paid very little money for all of your effort that you're exhausting while you're present, so that you can pay for a standard of living that you never get to experience because you're always at work. So we need to sit here and talk about ways for us to make money for ourselves. That way we can spend less time at work, spend more time at home, spend more time with family and loved ones, hang out with our friends. So take that into consideration as we keep moving forward. Let's talk about the investment market volatility. Have you checked your portfolios lately? I know me and Bayside's been checking our portfolio. I know RevCap, special shout out to RevCap 76 and FinTech 101, because we've been checking our portfolios. But the US stocks have been volatile and very underperformed international markets in comparison to last year. So this spring has been the lowest performing in comparison to previous years. Large cap stocks, as measured by the S&P 500, slipped 0.7% in April, while small cap stocks dropped 2.3%. Why? A big reason is the uncertainty around those tariffs that we were talking to you about, and the trade policies that continue to make things more difficult in receiving goods internationally, which has rattled both businesses and investors. Meanwhile, international developed markets were up 4.6% last month, outpacing the United States for the 5th month in a row. On the bond side, the 10-year Treasury yield dropped slightly from 4.23% to 4.17% in April, giving a modest 0.4% return for bondholders. 0.4% return, which is 0.004 cents on the dollar. Well, the bank is offering a savings account that collects interest at 0.0064%, which is 0.24% higher than the 10-year Treasury bond. That sucks. How are you reacting to this volatility? Because I was pissed off about the volatility years ago. Now that it's extra volatile, I'm like, I'm going to make me some money off of this. Are you guys holding? Are you selling? Or are you buying more? Make sure that you guys comment and share your approach throughout the show. Make sure that you share the channel to some people who you know might need it and some you think might be able to argue against it. We accept all challengers. We have low returns and higher uncertainty in recent times. And with the economic growth slowing and wage growth projections down, many investors are playing defense, moving into cash, gold, or inflation protected assets until market stability is reached. The US stock market is currently trading at 8% discount to fair value, according to Morningstar. But that comes after a roller coaster spring that saw a near bear market drop in April, followed by a rebound. Because I told y'all when that massive 700% dip happened and how it was going to bounce back, just give it time. Well, it bounced back. If you're shifted your investment, let us know what's working for you and what isn't. Let me know if when you shifted your investment, you was able to turn a profit or if you had to mitigate loss. because that's also a thing. If you seen this coming and you shifted your situation right before the 700% dip, you were one of the first ones out before the loss occurred, which means if you buy back in now, you got a 700% gain. Well, I mean, we've had a little bit of an increase since the rebound, but you will have a significant gain in comparison to your sales. We're also noticing reduced ability to save and invest and socialize. So let's talk about how this hits your lifestyle. Because when I talk to you about how politics impacts our way of life, I'm literally talking about how politics impacts our way of life. Are you cutting back on non-essentials like traveling, dating, or nights out with the fellas because of higher prices? Instead of going out to the club, you find yourself hanging out with your homies at the house. They might go to the near liquor store and pick them up something to drink and stop by there, connect, and pick up something to smoke and do what they normally would do at the club in your living room while your kids are in bed sleep. You ever found yourself at the house cooking with the squad instead of having dinners out? Times is tough, ain't it? You ever decided not to go because you didn't have enough gas in your car and that fuel light had to last you for a couple more days until your paycheck hit? Come on now. Let's talk about this. Y'all need to start mashing those reaction buttons on the right side of the screen and show some support to the channel. If this is hitting home, let us know now. Many households are spending more on necessities, leaving less for savings, investing, or even socializing. Even though travel costs like airfare and hotels are down about 2% compared to last year, they are still roughly 13% higher than before the pandemic. So vacations, weekend getaways, and even dinner and a movie dates are still pricier than they used to be. And I'm going to be honest with you, ladies, that makes a huge difference when y'all start demanding that a man is supposed to pay for the date when you're looking at a 13% increase on his investment. You got to ask yourself, what 13% extra effort are you putting in to offset his investment? And when we think about that 13% extra effort, that doesn't include sleeping with the guy. That's not supposed to be priced for valuable women. So beyond that, what do you think that you're contributing to these first 5 dates that these guys now in 2025 are paying a 13% increased cost to observe your time? And the reason why I asked that question is because we were talking to a couple people on the show yesterday, Sunday, and they were concerned about the dating game and how difficult things were. Last week, Sunday, we had a lot of women on the show talking about how they were not having the success that they thought they would, and their acceptance rate has rapidly declined, where men are not interested in taking the women out. And then we have other women across social media that are concerned why men are not putting in the effort to make the first approach. It's not because y'all ain't shit. It's because it's costing too much money, and no man that's investing in the first handful of dates is able to find value in those first handful of dates, since men are required to go on between 25 and 50 first dates a year before they can find one woman to commit to spending 41% of his income on for the remainder of his life, where she inherits everything that he left behind when he dies. Since men are not finding value in that entire scenario, less men are self-motivated to put themselves in that position to be judged and scrutinized by a society that prefers $100,000 a year man that'll beat on them than a $50,000 a year man that'll praise him and worship the ground that they walk on. So I had to segue on that, ladies, because on this and that, we talk about this, that, and everything in between. But we've got to really think about, why are y'all having a tough time going out and having a good time? Everybody's dating profile says that y'all like trips around the world and generosity. Ain't nobody giving y'all nothing, and ain't nobody taking y'all nowhere. Well, that's why 13% increase on the cost of taking you places and buying you stuff has encouraged 87% of men to stop buying y'all stuff and taking y'all places. That's forcing a lot of women to come out of pocket and pay for themselves. I understand that it ain't right in comparison to the old traditional styles, but since y'all fought for equality, y'all have equal responsibility to pay for your own way. But some of y'all might be skipping trips and scaling back on social plans, or looking for more budget-friendly ways to connect with friends and loved ones instead of the expensive old-fashioned ways that we used to do back in the 80s and 90s, and some of y'all back in the 70s. A lot of people are leaning towards free social media platforms to engage individuals and have communication and contact with other people where they otherwise aren't making that connection with individuals in person. And real become a way of life after the pandemic, where social media is bringing people closer together electronically. But if you think back in the 70s, if somebody would have said that they could talk to somebody that's not in a room and not be on the phone at the same time, they'll tell you that you're crazy. What changed about society? You're supposed to go outside and go socialize with folks. But one of the reasons why we're not, even the simple things like going out to eat or catching a concert or feeling the squeeze from inflation, because if we don't put in the effort to find ways to make larger quantities of capital, we can't afford the concert anymore. Popcorn's almost $20 a box. Drinks at the movies is almost $10 a cup. Not a glass, a plastic or styrofoam cup of soda that's 3/4 full of ice. And they look funny at you if you ask them to get you a drink with no ice. But why do people ask for a drink with no ice? So that we can get more drink. Because it's just good dang expensive. Why the hell am I spending $8 and some change plus taxes for a 32-ounce cup of drink when I could have bought 3 2-liters on the way in and just bought me a solo cup, filled it with some rum, and I could have been sitting there drinking my hoo-hoo and enjoying the show. That's why they don't prohibit outside food or drinks. It's a tougher environment for savers, investors, and anyone looking to enjoy life's extras right now, especially those with lower incomes. Inflation is still eating away at savings. Markets are choppy, and people are getting creative to protect their money and still have a little fun. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, what's your strategies? Are you guys changing how you save, invest, or even how you travel and socialize with your network here in 2025? I'm actually eager to know about that. And if you are, exactly which areas are you making adjustments? Because I know some women like to shop. Some men like to buy shoes. Are you not buying as many sneakers as you used to buy? Are you coming to find that suits are cheaper than name brand streetwear? And you might find yourself wearing more suit and ties that'll go a lot further than name brand gear and throwback jerseys. Are you pulling out some of the clothes? Because guys don't change in size more often than not. The way they were when they were like 16 to 18 years old, more often than not, is the same way they are when they're in their 30s and 40s. You got some guys who actually now think about, because they took reasonably good care of their clothes, that they're still wearing the same clothes that they used to wear back when they were kids. And you say, oh, that's what poor people do. But hold on, financially responsible people do the same thing. If you still got a pair of Rocawear jeans or some FUBU something or other, or Tommy Hilfiger before everybody started boycotting Tommy Hilfiger and forgot what Tommy Hilfiger was, it didn't have no stains on it. It doesn't have unnecessary rips and tears in wrong places. Zippers and buttons are still effective. You might see somebody piece together some vintage clothes. That's what vintage is. Old, old, old clothes that have not been seen in so long that they have come back into style. They've been out of style for so long that they have come back into style. That is what vintage is. And the average American is going into their closet, dusting off the mothballs and whipping out vintage clothing. And I know a lot of ladies that are able to do that these days because y'all be buying stuff and y'all will wear it once or twice, put it in your closet, forget that you own it. I bet right now there's at least 8 women watching the show right now that can go into their closet and find 15 price tags on outfits they have not worn since they bought it, and they did not buy it this year. Think about it now. Mm-hmm. Mash that mash that reaction button now. I know some of y'all got some shoes still in the box, still got the little paper stuff shoved into the shoe for posterity, and the shoe sitting on the shelf nailed to the wall, ain't took the shoes out the box since you bought them. Mm-hmm. I know some of y'all with some Jordan collections where y'all got 85 pairs of shoes, but you only wear one pair on a regular basis. And I know that y'all got like 3 or 4 of them that you don't even know if they fit because you ain't never put them on. You just bought them because they came out. Mm-hmm. Now y'all not doing that this year. Y'all not doing that this year. This year, you only buying what you need. This year, you're putting shoes on your feet that you ain't put on in a while. This year, you prioritizing the difference between the scuffed J's and the unscuffed J's. You're going to wear the scuffed J's when you going to look stylish and go do community service. And you're going to wear the unscuffed J's when you're hanging out with your squad. You're going to wear the scuffed J's when you're going to do extracurricular activities around the house, but you're going to wear the unscuffed J's when you're going out on the town. I know. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Now, look, TikTok has not been sold yet. Beijing is still being difficult. We still got about 30 days because round about June 20th is the extension. Now, I can't guarantee that TikTok is going to be sold by then, but according to sources and Donald Trump's declarations is that the ideas are looking up. The moment that deal is done, that's when we start seeing a mass quantity of changes, because almost 70% of the tariffs applied to China is going to change. And China includes Taiwan, Thailand, Beijing, anything in Asia is the Chinese tariff at like 135 to 145%. Once the TikTok gets sold and it drops back down to 35, that's 100% decrease. You're looking at everything now costing 1/3 of what it originally cost, which means you're going to see massive declines in online purchases from overseas stores. You're going to see lower costs for shipping because they're adding the tariffs into the cost of shipping. You see some stuff that's being shipped right now is costing like $20, $30, $40 to ship with 6-week wait time. They added an extra 7 to 10 days on Temu for the tariffs for the customs. You getting it from overseas, they're like, nope. You got to wait 75 days now. Back when I told y'all when they first started doing this, I'm like, look, they policy say 14 days guaranteed. Right now, while they still doing it, I told y'all, I said, buy a bunch of stuff from a bunch of individual merchants, whatever it is that you want, because each item that comes longer than 14 days give you $5 back. Majority of your stuff is going to be free if you did that. I was right up until they changed it and said, well, anything coming from China, it's got a 71-day hold time. So that's what. You telling me that I ordered something and I got to wait almost 4 months to get it? Well, 71 days is like two months and a couple weeks, but you get my point. So the fact is, a lot of things are changing. Take for those of you that still want to buy brand new cars. American cars cost $3,000 more per car. Cars made in Mexico and Mexico and Canada are costing $6,000 to $9,000 per car more than what it cost before the tariffs. Yeah, according to Donald Trump, the inflation might encourage more people to buy American, but the inflation is going to cause more people to buy used, not even certified pre-owned, just straight up used. Because if you go buy you a car with 75 to 120,000 miles on it, that bad boy was built 10 to 15 years ago. And whoever got that car now probably picked it up out of an auction, and they're not impacted by the tariffs. So if you're looking to buy you a new to you car, today is 2025. You need to be looking into 2015, 2017, 2019. Guaranteedly, whatever car you get is going to be Kelley Blue Book market value or less, more affordable. And if you get one that has the certified pre-owned guarantee on it, where it ain't nothing wrong with it, allegedly, whenever you pick that car up, that car is going to guaranteedly last you 2 to 5 years. Regardless of how many miles it has when you get it, if a car can last you 2 to 5 years, it has outlasted its purpose. The average American doesn't hold a car more than 3 years. We usually get into a crash inside of 2 years. Some people are like, oh, no, what you talking about? How many cars have you possessed in your life? I ain't talking about own. You drove it, and then after a while, it either broke and could not be fixed. Y'all didn't have enough money to fix it, or somebody else hit it, even if you didn't crash it, and you had to replace your car. How many of y'all had a car that was so beat up that you didn't even want to waste your time trying to fix it, and you had to replace your car? Most of us keep a cell phone longer than we keep a car, because ironically, cell phones cost almost as much as cars these days. Did you know that there's actually a law out there that says that they're not supposed to be charging us over $750 in the US for a cell phone, but for some reason, Samsung and iPhone is selling these bad boys for $1,500? Why do you think they give you that $800 rebate? They only make you pay the $600 sales tax, because that $600 sales tax is all they're legally supposed to sell you for the phone. The other $800 that they're discounting off of the phone as a favor to you is only incentivizing you to get into a contract without officially being in the contract. Because what does the contract say? Oh, well, if you lease the phone from us, we will pay the $800 at $35 a month for 2 years, as long as you maintain the cell phone service. Isn't that a contract? If you terminate the cell phone service before the 2 years is up, the remaining balance of the phone is due, and the rebate is not going to pay for the remaining balance. The rebate is only going to pay for the monthly statement credit for the 24 months, which contracts you based on your possession of the device to be in a contract with them for 2 years, so that you only pay $600 for a phone that they would otherwise sell you for $1,500. And then it gets you, because you're not going to be able to go to them and get another phone and add it to an active line to get that rebate. You have to add a new line of service. So there's always ways for people to make money off of you. Instead of making money off of the direct sale, they make indirect money off of your longevity because of the indirect sale. These things negatively impact us on a regular basis. Look at how cable companies are capitalizing, because everything went digital. We used to only have to buy cable or internet. Internet was an option. Cox Cable has a cable box that runs off of Wi-Fi. They got to provide you with the Wi-Fi device that powers the cable. So now you're not buying cable, just cable. You have to buy the cable and the internet as a package deal, because without the Cox internet, you can't run your Cox cable. So now they got you roped into a bundle where they're like, oh, you're saving money, but it's 286 kilobytes per second when cell phones are putting out 300 and something gigabytes per second for 5G. And you're paying like $200 and something a month, $250 a month for basic cable with internet to power the cable box, instead of paying $30 to $60 a month for an unlimited hotspot device in your house from your cell phone company. Do you understand the madness? And yet we waste our money on these things. And the irony is that after we finish wasting our money on these things, we then turn back around and we have cable for a TV that we never watch. We have internet that we never use because we depend on our cell phones. Then we sit on our cell phone, download apps, and put subscriptions on those apps so that we can watch TV on the go. You wonder why we ain't never got no money. Then, if y'all come to the show and y'all start listening and actively working on ways to save money and make money for you, then you start understanding, well, if you discontinue a lot of those things, you can rely on something like Netflix for $25 a month, where you and a few other people can share an account. Technically, the family plan allows you to have 4 lines, but it'll rotate out 6 without kicking anybody out. I've been doing it for a while. But a single person can rent Netflix for like $15 a month. So let me give you a tip, because here on This and That, we talk about that and everything in between, but we also talk about ways to make money for us. If you've got 3 friends that also would love to use your Netflix, let each one of them give you $10 a month. It is $5 a month less than Netflix. And between the 3 people, you would be getting $30 a month for 3 people to pay for your $25 a month with taxes Netflix bill, which also means that not only is your Netflix free for you, you also make a $5 a month profit for your friends to use your Netflix with you. You're welcome. Some people like, damn, I ain't even think of that. Yeah, and it don't matter who it is. Your mama, your uncle, your sister, your best friend, your child, your ex-boyfriend, whoever it is, if they using your stuff, hey man, I'm gonna need $10 a spot for that. See what I'm saying? And because you're the primary controller, if they don't give you the money, you can just log them out. When they think about paying that extra $5 a month to get their own Netflix, they'll hand you $10. Why you think they got some of y'all? I know y'all do it. Put a car into the comment section if y'all do this right here. Check this out. Anybody got their friend or their friend's car on their car insurance right now? And that person is helping you pay the bill. Because it'll save them money because you got a better insurance policy than what they would have had. So they'll partner with you. A lot of us do that with family plans. We are combining in relationships primarily. Everybody goes from having a single phone line to everybody having a bundled phone line, because the second line is 50% the cost of the first line. So instead of each person paying $70 to $80 a month for a phone, the first phone might be $70 or $80 and the second phone might be $35. So the couple ends up paying $100 to $120 a month for 2 phones instead of paying $150 a month together for 2 separate phone lines. The economy is getting tough. Every company is offering more services in bulk for a reduced rate in comparison to single person serving sizes of services. Just like food, every service is offered with a discount. I just found out that they got some oil companies out there, some oil changing companies out there. They're offering discounts right now. They're like $65, $75 off on a free oil change. Technically it's a free oil change, but I get full synthetic, so got to pay the difference. They might charge me $120. That's okay. You're taking $65 off of it. I otherwise would have paid that $120 anyway. So I'm going to let you do what you got to do. And I'm going to throw down $65 on the fact that you just got me a full service oil change, because I otherwise would not have gotten it. right? As we find ways to make and save money. So when we come to this and that, and we start talking about this, that, and everything in between, y'all got to understand we're trying to find ways so that even in these tough times, because we're in a recession, whether they admit it or not, we're in a recession. But we haven't felt the full effects of it, because the full effects of it is going to happen in like August, September, when we're trying to buy school supplies and everything is twice as much as it was last year. When we're doing taxes next year, and all of that tax-free money that they didn't tax us on for overtime lowers our tax return for next year, when we're thinking, oh, I made $75,000 this year, but only $45,000 of it was taxable income. They're not giving me a return back next year. You're going to be sitting over here stressing because you used to live off of that return. Keep in mind that you live from paycheck to paycheck. Even though you're able to work overtime right now and not be taxed on your overtime hours, you still found a way to still not have a dollar left after you've paid all of your bills and entertained yourself in between paychecks. Ain't that something? I just got a real question for y'all. Like, think about while we on that part. If January, before the new tax law went into effect, you broke even, why, after the tax change went into effect, you still breaking even? You making more money. You're making more money, but you spending more money also. We've got a few dozen episodes on this channel that y'all can go through. Just go to the channel, to the YouTube channel specifically, and type in episodes that have budget savings or something to that effect. 80-20 rule, 60-50 rule, 50-40 rule, whatever. And go watch some of them shows where I tell you guys how to redirect your finances from stuff that you don't need to stuff that you actually do need. And then the things that you want that you don't need, ask yourself, am I really going to use that for the rest of the year? Or am I going to entertain myself with that for a couple days or few hours or on special occasions? Because if it's going to be otherwise a decorative piece added to the quantity of clutter that's already in the house, you probably shouldn't buy it. If it's going to sit in the yard and collect dust, then you probably shouldn't buy it. If nobody's going to use it after the first handful of times that you use it, then you probably shouldn't buy it. That is how you determine need versus want. You need something that you're going to actively use on a regular basis. Regular basis is daily, weekly, monthly at the least. Any type of usage that's less than that, not necessary. People think, well, what about, snacks? What about, alcohol? What about, cigarettes? Well, if you can exist without that, since those things taken in excess are considered unhealthy for you in the first place, which actually causes the type of health issues that requires you to spend more money on health insurance and requires you to spend more resources going to the hospital for regular checkups because of those health issues. If you don't need to consume that, you can save money and not buy that. So there's a lot of stuff in play here. But one of the things that we're going to be doing tomorrow, we're going to go over one of those investment strategies, because we normally talk about investment opportunities, things that you can invest in, places that you can put your money to let your money grow. Tomorrow, we're going to be thinking about ways that you can actively move your money around so that you can make 20% or so profits off of your investment plans. It's a way to take less money and make more. Now, clearly, I'm giving you ways where you can just put your money in places and let your money make money for you. You could just drop it there, leave it there, and walk away from it and just collect those dividends on a regular basis. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about ways where you can literally buy and sell stocks in succession which ones to buy and sell, which days to buy them. And some of them are supposed to be bought before May 16th of this year, this month, within 4 days. So when I talk to you tomorrow, you will have 3 days, 2 days left to buy it, because you've got to start the purchase on the 15th and have the purchase completed before the end of business day on the 16th, so that you're on the books for the 16th. So when we talk about this tomorrow, starting on the 16th, which I think is Friday, if you're making that purchase on Wednesday or Thursday so that you're on the books by the 16th, from that purchase date to the sell date, you will be able to buy and sell certain stocks, receive the dividend date, the dividend distribution before you sell the stock, take the increase from the stock and the investment, the initial investment, and invest in another stock, and move your money around throughout the next 30 days and potentially increase your money, your initial investment, by 20% or more. Where we have investment opportunities that do a buy and hold at like 18 to 22%, there are other opportunities where you can move your money around and make your money make money for you in a active fashion, where you could potentially receive more than that. So with that being said, I want you guys to make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you go and look at tomorrow's show, it's already posted up on YouTube. I think it's scheduled on Twitch and Twitter, but I'm not sure if you guys can see it pre-scheduled on the platforms there. So I recommend that after tonight's show that y'all go over to the YouTube channel, like the channel, subscribe to it if you haven't done so yet, and then hit that notification button on tomorrow night's show, because I'm gonna tell you how you could take $1,000 and turn it into $1,200 in less than 30 days. I'm gonna show you how, if you did, you could take that $1,000 over the course of 10 months and turn that $1,000 into $3,000, and that's just $1,000. That's not, if you're doing this in a fast pace on a larger scale. You do this with $10,000, you can end up with $20,000 more by the end of the year. So, and that's just moving money around. That's not throwing it into the volatility of Bitcoin and praying for something to work out in your favor. That's literally following a trend of investments, buying and selling and following the trends of investments. Now, depending on how much you're going to put down and how much you're going to buy and sell and when you buy and sell, because if you don't remember to buy when you're supposed to buy and you don't remember to sell when you're supposed to sell, you're going to receive some differences. But if you were to follow the trends, you would see yourself making a little bit of extra cash, which ironically, if you don't use that extra cash to reinvest into your stock options to increase your principal investment, you would actually be turning the type of profit that could somewhat subsidize some of the things that you got to pay for. Because if you throw down $1,000 and get you $220 back in less than 30 days time, and you're able to take that $220 and put it on some bills, and you still got the principal $1,000 to invest, you're starting to make immediate profits off of moving money around. If you're able to do that on a $10,000 scale instead of a $1,000 scale, you can find yourself making $2,000 or $2,200 a month. For those people who are living on that type of income, you would literally be making profits off of moving your money around, where you don't even have to go to work, and all you got is $20,000 to your name. If you were able to get $20,000 or $40,000 and you're able to do this exact same process and be able to turn over $4,000 to $8,000 a month, you would literally have less than $100,000 in savings, but be making more than $5,000 a month in profits off of moving your money around in the fashion we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So bring your pen and paper and write down all these stock options and write down this strategy so that you can put it into action. But the fact that, ladies, I'm gonna talk to y'all real quick, that the man don't even have to have 50 grand. If you able to get 20% return on $100, on $1,000, you able to get a 20% return on $1,000. Y'all fuck around and use $10,000. That's $2,000 that you getting back on a monthly basis. You turn that into $40,000, you getting $8,000 a month. Not no average American, lower income status, lower middle class status got no $88,000 a month lifestyle. So if y'all found a way to take 1 year's income, so you meet a dude, he got 30,000-40,000 a year, you making 40,000-50,000 a year, you might be a 60-hour a week on-call nurse, you might be a teacher, whatever, and y'all put y'all money together, girl, you could take this strategy real quick and take your 40 grand and make y'all 8 grand a month, where even if he is working and paying all the bills, you would be flipping 8 grand a month. You could either contribute to the house or put that 8 grand a month into a trust. I keep telling y'all, grab them trusts, because if y'all put the money into the trust and then turn the trust into an irrevocable trust before y'all break up, and then that money is going to forever be paying you money for the remainder of your life after your relationship is over. That's like the best relationship to get out of, is a relationship that's still going to pay you and it's outside of alimony. Like what? And if you turn and grab and think about this now, because if you holding 40 bands and you shifting and jiving 40 bands to put out 8 grand a month, you know that your 40 grand would be making 80 grand inside of 10 months, right? So if you ain't even really got to find a man that's making 100,000 a year, you just got to find a man that's making like 50,000 a year, and you put your 50,000 with his 50,000 to live a $60,000 a year lifestyle, and take your 40,000 and flip it in the stock market every month and make 8,000 a month off of that, where you making 80,000 a year. That means that your 40 bands plus the 80 band profit, you walk away with 120 bands in 12 months of the first time you start shifting 40 bands around. And if you add that 80 bands to the 40 bands that you was once dealing with, and you start moving around over $100,000, $150,000, you start seeing $20,000 a month payouts, where you start seeing 200,000 in 10 months, which means that you could still be a millionaire inside of 5 years if you just move your money around and stay in a relationship where you don't need the money that you're making off your job. Y'all living comfortable off of the little 20% that you give him and 100% that he put on the house. Y'all living comfortable, and you able to take the rest of the money that you not wasting on bullshit, and you able to put it somewhere where you can make yourself a millionaire. You can make your relationship a millionaire inside of 5 or 10 years. Be able to buy cars cash up front when the tariffs go down. Be able to buy your houses cash up front when interest rates go down. And it don't matter if the interest rates are up if you buying it cash up front, because you ain't even got to take out a loan. You're just going to put your money down and take what you want. You know that feeling? It's a good feeling to have, to walk onto a dealership, say, I want that one, and I don't want to negotiate. I'll take it on the test drive after I own it. I don't give a damn what your policy is. I want that one. And let me go talk to your boss. And within 45 minutes, you driving away with your own shit, with the title in the mail and everything. Like that kind of stuff don't happen to the average broke folk. So I want y'all to make sure that y'all like and subscribe, and y'all follow us for tomorrow, because when we start talking about ways to not be broke no more, I want y'all to be on the bandwagon with me. So with that being said, I really appreciate y'all coming to tonight's show. Special shout out to those of you that's watching us on Twitter, X. Special shout out to those of us that's watching from Twitch. And for the rest of y'all that's following us on YouTube, I really appreciate y'all coming to the show. Tomorrow we're supposed to start at about 10:30. I'm gonna lean towards 10:30. I might start at like 10:25, but I'm gonna lean towards 10:30. Y'all make sure that y'all come here tomorrow, because when we talk about this, we're going to talk about all kind of stuff tomorrow, but we're going to talk about money tomorrow, making money, spending money, saving money, but we're going to mostly be spending money to make money. We're not spending money on bullshit. We spending money on stock options that are going to pay us money, so that when we sell them stock options, we make even more money. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So while it doesn't make sense, ladies, I'm always going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, while we're at about 75% followership, I really appreciate y'all coming to tonight's show. I really appreciate y'all showing us support. It's a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective. Remember, since we are live 7 nights a week, we don't let the sun rise without going live. I want to thank y'all for coming to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Any comments that's put on the show during the outro will be put up on the screen as long as they're appropriate. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.